is a great honor to be here with Nandini Oberoi and Madeline Tham. So today we will be talking a little bit about the book, The Incredible Treasures, UNESCO World Heritage Sites of India, and a little bit about the work of Intec here in Meghalaya. So we will start off by showing you a few slides that have been taken from the book. Okay, so as we can see from the slides, the book indeed does show an in-depth research and also documentation. The dedication that has been put in this book is immense. So we will start by asking Nandini ma'am a little bit about her work, the work that has been put in this book, The Incredible Treasures, UNESCO World Heritage Sites of India.
Good afternoon, everyone. Is it on? So it's really lovely to be in Shillong on this.
You can speak on the mic.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's really very nice to be in Shillong on this beautiful day, which is now getting a bit overcast. But about the book Incredible Treasures, which is of all the World Heritage Sites in India, which has been co-edited by my late husband, Shillong Oberoi and Shikha Jain. The book is really the first attempt to document all the World Heritage Sites in India, and of which at that time there were 38 and now there are 40. So that's quite a large number of World Heritage Sites, but they weren't ever sort of put into one place. Of course, the sites were always there, the Taj Mahal, all of us know that, and many other sites in across India. But this book is the first attempt to sort of bring it all together. So it's quite remarkable in that, and also the book has been sort of written by a large number of experts, archaeologists, conservationists. So they've all brought to it a great deal of depth and I would say their own expertise as well, also environmentalists. So that I think is the sort of unique character of this book. So that's what I need to say about that. I haven't done any work on it, to be honest. Nothing to do with me, but it's really my husband's work that I am sort of speaking about right now.
So, ma'am, can you tell us a little bit about the work here in Meghalaya as a convener of Intec Meghalaya chapter?
Thank you for the question, and hello, Nance. I call Nandini Nance because we are close friends, and it's really beautiful book. I was going through it the other day, and it's very well done. And Eric Holt is the UNESCO head in India. I think that's his production. I've just recently taken over Intec, which is Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage. And the previous convener was Aubrey Scott, our former finance minister. But due to age and, he they have appointed me from Delhi. So it's a lot of work, interesting work. Anything to do with culture and heritage, I think, excites everybody because it's something that we are born into and something we live with and we appreciate, because especially in the Northeast we are very bound to our roots, and we might be traveling all over the world, but after 2 weeks we'll want our tung tap and turung bai, the cravings begin. So whether it's food or the way we live, we are all born into a community, into a lifestyle that we are used to. So in TAC, I've been doing a lot of workshops, and we have had a good response from the government, from the public. Everybody's been very supportive for Intec. And we had workshops, awareness programs in Nehu, in Joai, in number in Shillong, in Sora. And another important factor is that I've initiated recently is the listing of heritage properties, both built and natural built properties, because we have a lot of treasures in Meghalaya. And we have opened our office in Garo Hills also, headed by co-convener Ramona Sangma. She's a professor in Nehu. So these are the few things I can say about Intec right now.
So there's a chapter in this book that is written about the nomination process of these UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Can you talk a little bit about the procedures or the process?
Um, yes, I can talk a little bit about it. The process of nomination to the World Heritage Sites is quite a long process. So, it takes between 3, 5, sometimes 7, 8 years before a site is actually nominated. So, of course, the nomination can be done by the state government. It can be suggested by NGOs, or it doesn't matter who thinks that some particular monument or a natural site, uh, is worthy of being on the World Heritage List, for example. And then you have to really work around that. You have to prepare a nomination dossier. You have to make sure that the state government takes it on, sends it to the central government, to the ASI, who then again, looks into that particular suggestion, sees whether or not they think it's worth taking forward. Then it goes to Paris. In Paris, it will be looked at by the World Heritage Committee, by the expert bodies, ICOMOS, others who are IUCN if it's a natural heritage site. So they will then examine it and see whether they think that it has the potential. And sometimes they will make some suggestions. So then it comes back to the state. For example, the state will then again look into it. Then you'll have to mark out the boundaries. You'll have to make a site plan, management plan, involvement of communities that live around that particular area. There's a lot of things that have to be looked into for the nomination process. And even after a site is nominated, it isn't always the case that it gets actually accepted. So, then the World Heritage Committee votes on that. And that part has really become a big industry in some ways, so that, the many countries will be able to spend a lot more money, to try to garner kind of support for their sites, etc. So, in recent studies have shown that there's a lot of European sites, for example, who are on the World Heritage List, and many of the developing countries, also India, though India does have 40 sites, but India is also a very large country. So many of the developing countries have not had so many sites nominated onto this list. So, it is a long process. You have to first be on the tentative list, then you get onto the list if, the country has to, only one site can be nominated every year now. So it's a long process. I don't know if I've explained it all, but that is how it is.
Of course, you have. I mean, now hearing the nomination process, ma'am, do you think that any of the sites here in Meghalaya actually have the potential to be recognized as a World Heritage Site?
Uh, okay. First of all, we have to start. What I'm doing right now is the listing. That is, I'm documenting all the heritage, I mean, not exactly heritage recognized as by UNESCO, but we do have heritage sites potentially that can be recognized by UNESCO. We are, the state government, we have started with the tentative list.
Right.
Then it goes through another stage, which is called the nomination file. And then it has to meet at least one of the 10 criterias in that list. Uh, as of now in Meghalaya, I think I would ask Ramona Sangma to say a few things because Balpakram has reached the tentative list. Ramona, can you just say a few words about the tentative? Because the Balpakram has reached a very high level, and hopefully it's a biosphere. It can be, you know, yes, in Garo Hills, it can be protected. And Ramona has worked very hard on that level.
You know, you can come here on stage,
Yeah,
but can
yeah.
we have a chair for her, please?
Thank you, Madeline. This is quite unexpected, actually. I wasn't supposed to be here talking about Intec. Anyway, thank you. Just to clarify on a few things regarding what we have been doing in Intec and Garo Hills. As of now, it's not actually a work that has been done by Intec, but then the Balpakram National Park is in the tentative list. It has come out in, I think, 2018, about 3 or 4 years back, and it's not yet at the final stages, but we're working at it with the UNESCO team of India. And recently, I have been roped in also to help out with the documentation. So hopefully, with the help of the government and then the work of the UNESCO team of India, and then a few of us in Garo Hills, will be able to fulfill at least maybe if not 4, 3, I think we're quite sure of the criteria that we're fulfilling. So that's the status of Balpakram National Park right now. And the rest of the heritage sites, I think Intec would be looking at it, and perhaps later on, once the documentation is done, we can also try for a few more areas. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming and talking to us about the sites in Garo Hills as well. And we wish you all the best. I hope that they will be listed under the World Heritage Site. So now again we go to you, ma'am. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience here in Northeast, and do you think that there are any potential sites here in Northeast that can be listed?
Well, I think there are many potential sites that can be listed, but there's always, a struggle between conservation, to keep the old and build the new. This kind of struggle is always there. So, of course, there are sites that can be listed. The in Jaintia Hills, for example, the monoliths have always been, for me as a little child, always wonder, when I would go. And I don't know if now they've found out how they came, etc. I don't know if they can be listed on the World Heritage List, but certainly, as Madeline is saying, personally, I feel that there should be state lists or there should be national lists, because you can protect your heritage by by being conscious of it. So definitely there is a reason to sort of look at the heritage and recognize it, because otherwise, we tend to sometimes neglect it, I would say, Um, so, putting things onto lists, etc., are important for this. This is my one thing. So definitely there must be sites. I remember that there used to be the caves in Cherrapunji, and a lot of them were still unexplored when we were here many years ago. That's 10 years ago. So I don't know. That time there used to be these um, people who would be coming from Europe, etc., to um, examine and explore these caves, and they said there were kilometers of them which were not. I don't know if they have recently been explored or not. So I'm sure that could be also another potential area. In the northeast itself, there are Kaziranga, Manas. These are already on the list. So, there are, of course, and there are many others in Assam. And I mean, there's a rich cultural heritage, of course. And of course, intangible culture. I mean, in Shillong, I think that is, without saying anything, that is really the thing that is there. So, yes, definitely.
So, ma'am, since you've done like quite a lot here in Meghalaya, what is your understanding in terms of documentation, archiving, and research?
Right now we are doing the listing, and as Nance was saying, we need to first identify, then we list, then we give the geolocation of the site. And talking about heritage sites, we have many in, as you were saying, in Jantia Hills, Nartyang and the remnants of the Jantipur kingdom. These have to be protected and, treasured. Then in the Khasi Hills, we have a lot of heritage properties and buildings of the Welsh missionaries. This is a sign that they have been here. They have, whatever's left is that heritage has stood the test of time, and it's up to the present generation, future generations to protect, because they tell a story. There's something behind the reason why it's there. Another thing is, you know, uh, after listing documentation, then we come out with a publication. So once we've come out with a publication, then all the heritage sites, tangible, intangible, natural built heritage, these are the 4 categories that we are looking at into now. These will come up in a publication and presented to the state government, and I think from there public awareness will be created. And whatever what we are trying to do right now is, wherever the site is, we hope that the community development will come up there in the right way, in keeping intact of all its culture and heritage aspects.
Okay, thank you so much. Since we have limited time, I would like to thank you so much for joining us for this in this conversation. Thank you so much, Madeline Tham. We wish you all the best for your work here in Meghalaya. And thank you so much, Nandini Oberoi, for joining us and telling us about incredible treasures, the UNESCO Heritage Sites of India, and the nomination process. And also, ma'am, thank you so much for joining us unexpectedly, but it was amazing to hear about the sites in Garo Hills as well. Thank you.
Thank you, panelists, for such an enriching session. Thank you. We shall move on to the next session shortly.